Hello everybody, Gerald here, and I'm going to be starting a new little segment on my channel called The Beginning Board. The Beginning Board is really where I get to show you guys a little bit of what it means for me to think deeply, create art, and change the world. Wink wink, hint hint, nudge nudge. The way that I create art is mainly through songwriting. It's also through singing and a lot of the other things that are discussed on this channel. Whenever I have something bothering me, whenever something is not going my way, or if I need to, kind of percolate or think about something, I always use songwriting to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually talk about something that I've been thinking about, and then I'm going to literally write the song here right before your eyes. I don't know how far I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna see if I can put something together that will hopefully speak exactly what I am thinking right now. So what the beginning board will be like is me kind of explaining a particular life concept. I actually tweeted a few days ago about this, and I wanted to read the tweet, give you guys a little bit of an insider as to my thoughts behind it, and then actually write the song before your eyes. So I wrote the following tweet. After years of serving in various committed capacities, bands, school plays, one sports team, ministries, choirs, jobs, and worship teams, I've gathered the following nugget of wisdom. You need to be honest with yourself when you are disconnecting. Don't allow the sting of someone else's incompetence distract you from the inner soul movements that are causing you to unplug from a social, educational, or economic space. There's no need to feel guilty when you disconnect. Disconnection, though it has a negative connotation, is actually a very neutral act. But disconnection will always be a choice. Don't let anything fool you into thinking otherwise. I actually say a little bit more in the tweet, but you guys can follow me on Twitter and actually go and read the rest of it. I think that it was a really cool concept, this whole disconnection thing. I think that to basically elaborate on it a little bit more while I actually get my rig together, because what I was supposed to do before filming is actually get my rig together, but I didn't get my rig together. The wonderful thing about life is that, and actually about our souls, the way that God made us, we connect to different spaces. We connect to spaces, we connect to places, we connect to people, we connect to communities, we connect to jobs, we connect to video games. I have connected to many video games. Whether we like it or not, we become involved with these particular things that may pass us in life. And when things pass us in life and we connect to them, we can connect to them for a minute. In social media, we connect to posts when we read something, and then if we choose to think about it later, we connect to that post for however long we're thinking about it and then throw it away. We also connect to things for days at a time. If you go to a conference or you go to, a retreat for work or whatever, you connect to that space, and you connect to what's happening there, and depending on how much you actually have a great experience or a bad experience about it, you may connect with that space. And just like I was saying, the connection itself is not a negative or a negative or positive thing. It's just something that happens. And when we have traumatic things connect to us, it can be connection in a bad way. When we have good things to us, when we have good things happen to us, we connect to the places and the spaces that were involved with that space. And for most of the people that are musicians and music lovers that are on this page, or on this channel rather, we connect to music and we carry that with us. These connections can happen for days, for weeks, for months. They can happen for years. They can happen for decades. And when we connect, we choose to involve our soul with the makings of everything that's happening in those different spaces, and we also choose to involve our souls with the people that are there. And I'm not talking about necessarily talking to people. I'm just specifically talking about our soul space, our thought space. We think about the people that are there. We think about the things that have happened. We think about the way that they make us feel, etc., so forth, whether they be good or whether they be bad. We connect to people when we have relationships with them. We connect, we bond, and sometimes relationships fall apart. And when relationships fall apart, we disconnect from those people that we once might have made us very happy, and in a lot of cases have made us feel pretty rotten. So what I'm essentially saying in this tweet is that we need to become honest about when we are choosing to disconnect. For whatever reason, there are things that might influence us to disconnect from a space. If we're disconnecting from a job, it might mean that we just have to move somewhere else. And so we consciously disconnect ourselves from one job to attach ourselves to another job in another place. When you leave high school, you are disconnecting from a space. You are now getting older and you pass all of your courses. And so you are choosing to disconnect yourself from that particular space to move on to another one, to better education. In most cases, when we disconnect from a space physically, it is by our own choice. When we're young and our parents might move somewhere, we disconnect from places against our own will in a lot of ways. But as adults, we generally do have a choice in terms of who we choose to connect ourselves to, who we choose to disconnect from, the places and the events, etc., so forth. The events, whether they be traumatic or whether they be amazing, we can choose to connect or disconnect from those different places. I'm not really talking about whether or not it's a choice to disconnect. That's not really the bottom line of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when we choose to disconnect, and 9.9 times out of 10, we are actually choosing to disconnect, even if someone did us rotten and we disconnect from that person, we make the choice to do that. However, there are a lot of times when we disconnect from spaces physically, but we weren't honest with our soul in disconnecting from that space spiritually or mentally. Say we're a relationship. A relationship is probably a great way to illustrate this, because, and I'm supposed to continue setting up my rig, but there's a lot of people that we disconnect from, whether it be like a breakup. Oh, that's probably that's a really good example. Okay, Anyway, a relationship is a really good example because sometimes we disconnect from people physically, like you're no longer in a relationship, but you're still connected to them. But anyway, I really like this concept. The main gist of my tweet is to say, hey, when you are disconnecting, be honest with yourself and let yourself know that you are disconnecting from a space, or you're disconnecting from a person, or you're disconnecting from an event. And don't make it somebody else's problem, or don't put the blame on somebody else to say, hey, you're the one that made me disconnect. No, you disconnected. And again, this isn't about guilt, about leaving a job too soon. This is more about allowing ourselves to be inwardly free from all of the baggage that comes from not being honest about the reasons why we disconnected. And weirdly, when we disconnect without being honest with ourselves, we still connect to those spaces that we let go of. Am I gonna make this personal? No, I'm really not. The wonderful thing about this platform is that I get to choose how much I share. When you're not honest with yourself and you connect yourself to a whole bunch of different places, the disconnection that you sought to actually do, you didn't actually do. And so you're still connected to all of these different people, places, events, etc., so forth. And your capacity's getting full. You might be getting anxious. You might be getting depressed. And it's because you're weighed down by the lack of honesty. And so the song that I think I'm writing is a song about the honesty of disconnection. So I hope you're thinking about what I said. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sing this here, but any other, like I'm probably gonna write the chorus. That's what it feels like I'm gonna write. I'll put the rest of it up on my Patreon, and you'll be able to hear it there. So shout out to all my patrons. I have no idea if I have any, because at the time I'm recording this I have none. But if I do, hi. If I don't, come on, everybody. Let's get to writing. Wow, I feel like crying. If I were to be honest... wait, hold on. So, being honest about disconnection. Okay. Disconnecting, okay, example. Honest, I can disconnecting. If my heart was honest, I am disconnecting. My heart is like doing backflips right now. Oh, jeez. The ties are unrelenting. Disconnecting, unrelenting. I think. Yes. Disconnecting, unrelenting. Yeah, let's put it up. So disconnecting down and then unrelenting. Take it up. Okay, what's unrelenting about not being honest about disconnecting? Maybe this song is a moment. If I were to be honest, I am disconnecting. Disconnecting. I like the word painting of that, of disconnecting. Disconnecting. Let's get out some of the corn. All the ways you are rubbing me are unrelenting. Yo, this thing is hurting. This thing hurts. Whew, I need to pray. This is something I think I'm gonna have to come back to, because I can feel this thing. So I'm just gonna process, pray, keep thinking, and then allow this thing to finish. Yeah. Usually people can't do that in writing sessions. I can, because this is songwriting as a process and not me trying to just knock out a song in a time. But this is songwriting for healing. Anyway. Okay, came back in the evening. Let's see if I get it now. Said yes to the emotions I have been processing. That's it. Okay, that's it. If I were to be honest, I've been disconnecting. Said yes to the emotions I have been processing. All the ways you've been hurting me are settling in. Settling in, yeah. All the ways you've been hurting me are settling in, and settling in. I like that. Settling in. If I were to be honest, I've been disconnecting. Yet said yes to the emotions. So then, let's add some rhythm on it. If I were to be honest, I've been disconnecting. Said yes to the emotions I have been processing. All the ways you've been hurting me are settling in. Settling in. Settling in. Yeah, that's exactly it. Settling in. And I don't want to live like that. Yeah. If I were to be honest, I admit. If I were to be honest, I've been disconnecting. Said yes to the emotions I have been processing. All the ways you've been hurting me are settling in. And I don't want to live like that. 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 Maybe the song is called Live Like That. Live like that, live like that, live like that, live like that. Yeah, I like that. At least that for now. I think we've got something. So I'm gonna flow on this, meaning that I'm gonna improvise. I'm gonna sing to the Lord, process this thing, but I'm gonna make the flow available on my Patreon. I'm gonna make the flow available on my Patreon. So if you want to hear a little bit more of this, if you want to, I guess, see a little bit more of the process and what it will be like for me to process something like this, then I suggest for you to become a patron, go and get that content. Yeah, I'm gonna go and see this through, and yeah, hopefully this is helping heal you. So yeah, be blessed. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, because this is the place where we think deeply to create art that changes the world. I'm O'Neil Gerald, and I'll see you later. Oh, 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 oh.